All right, the ball is in my court, and I'm calling the shots. The ball is in Warhammer's court now, and I'm calling the shots. Let's go! It's time to come to the forge. It's forge game time. Forge game time is back in the world. It's time for some forge game activity. Alright, serendipity. Alright. Alright, here we go. Let's go. It's the Warhammer, yo. Little shimmy in the house, bro. Little shimmy. Getting right. Little shimmy. Get it on. Alright. Now, normally I would do like a beat drip or something, but I'm going to kind of not do that. I've been doing some thinking, and I kind of have to realize that, like, 95% of the people that I talk to online are not born again in Christ. Like, 95% of the people I talk to are unrepentant reprobates and just blatant sinners and people like that. And I keep forgetting that. You see, some thinking. That's the number one thing that I do wrong. I forget that most of the people that I talk to online and in the real world outside my house are not saved. And I have to do, that's a rule that I have to put in my head. That's something that I gotta really drill in my head hard. Majority of people who I talk to online are not born again. Okay? Unbaptized, not born again, you know. And please, take the baptism thing and understand that it's not the same thing as saved by divine grace. Salvation by divine grace through faith. Those are two completely different things, entirely. So, you can be baptized for the remission of sins, but you can't be baptized as an infant. No infant baptism. There can be no infant baptism allowed. So, in a Bible passage, Paul talks about the seen and the unseen church. And he explains how... And it sounds very paradoxical, I realize that, but I'm just, this is the truth. So yeah, that's the first thing right off the bat. I have to kind of really remember... It kind of has to be remembered that most of the people that you talk to are not saved. And they will never repent. Okay, we're talking about very unrepented sinners. So yeah. Anyways, I've done some thinking about some stuff lately. And, I don't just like blatantly come online, start up a live stream, and say this guy's a federal intelligence plant. I don't like to do that kind of stuff. That's very unprofessional to do. To like just say, tell someone that you've never met in your entire life, hey, you're a federal intelligence plant. Whoopity doopity doo, bro. I don't like to do that, okay? But there are times when God will select you to name out your enemies' names. There are times when you are not supposed to address or attack any of your enemies. And then there are times, naturally, when you should call your enemies' names out. So there are goats. There are sheep. that can be swayed over to Christ. And then there are goats, you know. And really, it's like the parable of the tares, the parable of the wheat and tares, and the unclean wine, or the broken wine of Jesus Christ. Hold on a second. Is this still going? Over to Christ. And then yeah, it's still going. Okay. There's broken wine vessels that you cannot drink wine through. Here, let me broken wine pots. Here, let me show this biblical passage. Oh yeah, it's old. But there are things that we can take from that, from 2,000 years ago, and apply it to now. We can take those examples and apply it to today. You know, like the parable of the tares, the stuff about the wine jars and you can't put new wine into old wine jars. You know, like they did in the ancient Mediterranean. So, what we can do today or these days is we can take that knowledge from back then, and we can use it as knowledge or use it as examples against our enemies or against our foes. So there are people, you know. Okay. Yiros, I'm about to address you and the others in a moment. From back then. Yiros, I'm about to actually talk about you and the others in just a couple of minutes. But anyways, let's talk about the parable of the tares. What is God talking about when he mentions the parable of the tares? The parable of the wheat and the tares. Another parable he put forth to them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. And when the grain had sprouted and produced a crop, then the tares also appeared. So the servants of the owner came and said to him, Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares? He said to them, An enemy has done this. The servants said to him, Do you want us then to go and gather them up? But he said, No. Lest while you gather up the tares, you also uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together, and at the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, First gather together the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. What is Jesus talking about when he says this? What in the world is Jesus talking about? He's saying that he will purposefully allow the sinful, unrepentant in the church together with the saved and the born again. And he will leave them there together and give them an equal chance to grow together until the harvest. But when the harvest comes, Jesus will take the tares up first. He will gather them and bundle them together and burn them in fire. And then the wheat will be gathered up and put into the storage pit or the storage facility or the granary house. So what is that telling you? That's telling you that God is giving unrepentant sinners an equal opportunity to be saved, even though he knows it's predetermined that they will never get saved. They will burn in the lake of fire. They will always be unrepentant sinners. And so I think that's probably one of my issues and problems. I don't really address this very often. I do not try to actually, try to compare the difference between those that are saved and those who are not. I always try to treat people the same, even though they're really not. So really, the truth is that people both internally and externally are different. Okay, and salvation is one of those more important differences, if not the most important. Alright, so Mormon Shaggy did a 5-hour stream, and all he did was just point by point say the exact same lines that J Dank said about me. Namely saying that I'm part of the alt-right, saying that like I'm a Nazi, a neo-Nazi, that I love Adolf Hitler, that I hate Jews, and all this other crap. It's always the same exact stuff. And I've always explained to them that I followed Southern Israelite, I followed Eric John Phelps, I read Vatican Assassins, I read John Clark Ridpath's The History of the World, and I read the Counter-Reformation Against the South by Drake Shelton. Every time, it's always the same thing. Every single time, it's always the exact same lines. So, I finally have to conclude that, what? I cannot debate or deal with these people. I have to cut them out of my life. They're paid federal agents. They're paid federal agents, bro. And I don't like to just come out and say that Mormon Shaggy and Yiros and the Daimyo and all these other people in Drunken Surfer are on the payroll of the U.S. federal government. I don't really like to just say that. I like to just say that, well, they just don't know what my points are. But I've already explained many times, okay? The Daimyo knows my YouTube channel on BitChute. Okay, I know that you people have seen my old videos before my channel got taken down. Okay? You people know my political points at this point. Okay? You people know what my politics are. You know that I follow the Southern Israelite, and you know that I follow white Protestantism. Okay? What we typically believe is that the Catholic Church is what is responsible for the problems and issues of this world, and not the Jews. It has been explained time and time and time again. I've said this time and time and time again. I know that Jews don't run the world. It is the Jesuit order, but still, it's the same thing. 5 hours of the same exact BS from Mormon Shaggy, saying that Warhammer's in the alt-right, that he likes Hitler and the Third Reich. It's the same stuff, bro. Okay? Well, you know what, Shaggy? You're a federal agent and you're on the payroll of the U.S. government. How do you like them apples, bro? What do you think about that, bro? I try to reason with a lot of you people. You're not rational. None of you people are logical. None of you people don't understand nothing about what I talk about. It goes way over your head. I've talked about in some of my streams about this stuff. It goes over your head. It goes over the Daimyo's head, and it goes over Yiros' head, bro. So let's just be honest, man. Okay, dude, I even explained in his chat last night. Shaggy, I don't like the alt-right. I detest the alt-right. I don't like white Catholics, bro. Okay, I don't want to be part of any political organization with. Okay, they are servants of Satan. They are servants of the devil. They're servants of the Jesuits. All Freemasons are servants of the Jesuits. They're servants of Satan. They're slaves of the vices of this world. And just really unrepentant sinners in general are the servants and followers of the gods of this world. So, I have to conclude that you guys are federal intelligence plants. Why would you sit there for 5 hours talking about the exact same thing that Jay Danks or any of these other people say? It's always the same thing. It's always exactly the same thing. Trying to paint me in the same light as the alt-right, saying that I'm a disgrace to America, saying I'm a disgrace to the white race, And I don't even really believe in a white race, okay? Okay, bro, if you actually had listened to what I had said, you would have heard me say, and there is lots of videos on my BitChute that prove this, that I said repeatedly, I followed the Southern Israelite. And the Southern Israelite said that he believes that the white race is a Roman Catholic and atheist invention, okay? Most Protestants in Northern Europe did not believe in this concept of a white race. All this stuff about a white race, or like a white Aryan race, is a Roman Catholic invention or an atheist invention. Okay? That's why when you go to counter currents, you're going to find atheists and pagans and Catholics and Eastern Orthodox Byzantine Rite people. That's the kind of people that you're going to find. Okay? So, I'm going to ask, dude, if I read Vatican Assassins, why would I want to be in the alt-right? Because that's the very opposite of what Eric Phelps and Drake Shelton would say. That's the very opposite, the flip side opposite of what I would do. Okay, bro? So I have to think, I have to assume that you're on someone's payroll, Shaggy. I'm sorry, buddy, but you're not saved, bro. You don't sound like a saved man. You sound very guilt-ridden. You sound like you're in sin, that you live every day of your life in sin. Every day of your life, Shaggy, every day of your life, Daimyo, and every day in your life, Yiros, you sin. And you're not repentant about your sins. You were born into sin, and you have lived your entire lives in sin, in sight of the possibility of salvation, and yet you have refused it. And I imagine that even after this, all of you men will still refuse salvation in God. Okay? Why would somebody waste 5 hours spewing out garbage over and over again and not be paid for it? Why would you want to do that for free? Okay, think about it. How could you not do that and not be paid for it? Okay? Now, I don't have no evidence that Shaggy or Daimyo are federal agents, but I do have something here. I do have a little bit of evidence. So, there are ways to find some evidence. So, on my Discord, there is this guy called a GuyJel. This guy here, a GuyJel. And for no reason, just right out of the blue, I didn't know this guy. I knew nothing about him. He did a cook stream. I went on his cooking stream. I knew nothing about him, dude. Right out of the blue, he appeared in the chat on my YouTube stream, and he asked for a link to my Discord server. He doesn't know me, or he claims he didn't know me, but he knew I had a Discord server. So I invited him on. And I became friends with him, and he sent me this about the People's Populist Press, the PPP show. Dick Masterson versus Ronnie Rolfe, Gahul versus the FBI. And this was about Gahul's FBI raid. Right out of the blue, a GuyJel shows he's talking about how Gahul was raided by the FBI. So I'll show this video right fast. And you'll find out yourself that I'm telling you the truth. All these people are connected. They all work for the government. So Yiros is an intelligence plant. He's being paid by the CIA. And he probably is paying Mormon Shaggy and the Daimyo to attack me. So here it is. Odyssey.com, the People's Protesting Podcast Show. Dick Misterson versus Ronnie Rolfe. Gahul and FBI. Or, I'm sorry, Gahul versus FBI. So let's just play this, dude. Right out of the blue. And there's Drunken Surfer, too. There's Drunken Surfer right there with PPP. Dude, all these guys are connected.
Home, country roads, take me home, down country roads, won't you take me home, down country roads. Incredible.
Amazing. It was fucking unreal. Unreal shit. Beautiful. Are we on screen? Are we live?
We are live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the People's Populous Press Show for August 6th, 2020. We have a highly entertaining, highly exciting show for you guys here tonight. We have my esteemed colleague Gahul here, who has been raided by the FBI fraudulently.
Fraudulently! Falsely accused!
Falsely accused of possessing child pornography by a certain Hapa, although we'll get to that. Now, Gahul is going to reveal to us the sealed documents.
Remember, these documents will be unsealed live on the air.
Okay, now, isn't it interesting that in the United States, it's actually illegal to stream or do a live stream showing someone else's files with the FBI, or the files of someone who is raided by the FBI. So did you know that I could actually get swatted and put into trouble for showing what I just, for actually showing Gahul's FBI raid files. Now, isn't that weird? Isn't that interesting how all of a sudden a GuyJel pops up, sends a friend invite, and shows me a link to this video about Gahul getting raided by the FBI? Isn't that kind of bizarre? And by the way, I didn't even call him an FBI agent. Like, it was Burger Boy and Beans, of all people, that accused him of being an FBI agent. And I was saying, I don't know, I'm not too sure about this. But bro, it's true, man. How is this, none of this is a coincidence. And then the very next night, I was asked to go talk to Gahul. I was invited onto Gahul's stream to talk to him. And I would imagine what they wanted to do was they were trying to get me to talk about his FBI raid. And you can actually get into trouble under US and Texas law. You can actually go to jail for showing someone's private criminal files and records. Okay? Beans was actually the one. It was Beans and Hydrio Alpha and Burger Boy. Before I said anything, they all said the same thing. They all agreed to the same thing. That a GuyJel was a federal agent. And finally I've come to this decision, okay? So I am going to finally reach this decision. Daimyo, and Mormon Shaggy, time and time again, and Yiros, you're also time and time again, I have explained the same thing. Over and over, I have explained I am not in the alt-right. I have explained that if you read Vatican Assassins, The Anglo-American Establishment by Carol Quigley, Anthony C. Sutton's books, all this stuff, dude, it's the same thing. Hitler was a paid agent of the banks. Hitler was being paid Rothschild money to get into power in the Third Reich. The Nazis were funded by the Rothschilds to genocide the Jews in order to set up the State of Israel in Palestine. The Havara Agreement between the Zionists and the National Socialists of Germany, the Havara Agreement, guaranteed that the Jews in Germany would be allowed a mandate in Palestine. The Havara Agreement was just a continuation of the Balfour Declaration. And these people, these Satanists, these Freemasonic Satanists that are in the Templi Ordo Orientis, the OTO, the Ordo Templi Orientis, Aleister Crowley was in it, Madame Blavatsky was highly involved in it. Okay, out of that organization, the Jehovah's Witnesses came out of that. And the Jehovah's Witnesses were set up to spread evangelicalism and Pentecostalism into the Protestant churches to facilitate Christian Zionism and garner Christian Protestant support under the influence of British Freemasonry for the foundation of the Palestine Mandate and later the State of Israel in 1917 with the Balfour Declaration. The Jehovah's Witnesses, all these cults and groups that were Zionist or Judeo-Christians, they all supported and gave support to the Balfour Declaration because they believed that with the restoration of the nation of Israel, that this would speed up the end of times. This would speed up the coming of the Antichrist to rule over the nations of the world. That's all it was. The Havara Agreement was just a continuation of the Balfour Declaration. Okay? So if intelligence groups and intelligence agencies could do something like that, international intel groups could do something like that, what makes you think that they would not pull off something like the alt-right? If you look at Project Operation Paperclip, Project Mockingbird, Project MK Ultra, you can look this all up on Wikipedia. It all leads to the same thing. These people, these agents, wanted a race war. They wanted Hitler to win the Second World War, and they wanted Israel to be founded, and they wanted a race war in the United States. Okay, and they wanted to create a avant-garde counterculture movement. And they did that in the 1960s. It took 10 or 20 years, but in the 60s they finally got it. It was the counterculture movement. And LSD, the government, the CIA was the one that put in funding for LSD and getting LSD out into the public to create the hippie counterculture. And they wanted to give out mind-altering drugs to the public and try to dissuade and degenerate society. So why would someone do 5 hours? Think about it. 5 hours. Okay? 60 minutes in 1 hour. 120 minutes in 2 hours. Over 5 hours going point by point, saying the exact same stuff over and over again. Trying to say that I was in the alt-right and all this other stuff. It's called gaslighting and blackmail, folks. And by the way, I got confirmation that Mormon Shaggy was in the Proud Boys. You know your friend Mormon Shaggy? He was in the Proud Boys. by the way. And that's not, by the way, this is not a lie. In 2016, Mormon Shaggy joined the Proud Boys, and he was in this kind of patriotic alt-right group, okay? So he's the one who invested in that politics. I didn't. I never got involved in no political group. The closest thing I have is that I voted for the Republican Party in my state, and that was it. I was never part of any group, so you can't accuse me of any of that. Another thing, too, Mormon Shaggy, you were in the Proud Boys. Why did you leave, bro? Was it a failure, or were you a failure? So, Mormon Shaggy, maybe it's because of your politics and political outlook and your pagan LARPing that you're a failure. That's the reason why you're such a failure in your life. And you know what, Daimyo? You made all these different home movies back in the day. Where did your career go, bro? You failed. You know what, Daimyo? Your life is a failure. You know how long I have been rapping as Little Shimmy? Just a year. Just over a year now. And so far, that has been a success. Up until a year ago, I was not rapping or freestyling or nothing, bro. And for the last year, my life has just been a complete success. I have made so many friends. I've made so many wonderful friends from Bitwave. I've made so many wonderful friends from like the J Danks Army and people like that. I've made a lot of good friends in the last year. Okay? And not to say I had no friends before that. I did. But I made some very good friends. Okay? So, if somebody like a GuyJel is coming in here and is showing, literally posting in my DMs, as you can see right here, stuff about clips of Gahul being raided by the FBI, trying to find ways, to like get me to post this information on my stream, trying to like get me, trying to get me to post this stuff about how Gahul was raided by the feds and federal Fed posting and stuff. He's a federal agent. Who's to say that Mormon Shaggy is not a federal agent? Who's to say that the Daimyo is not a federal agent, or Drunken Surfer, or Yiros MC are not federal agents? Because they are. So, you know what, guys? I gave you a chance. I gave all of you a freaking good chance. And I was very patient, and I was very receptive to you guys. And when other people were saying that you were Luciferians and federal agents, I was the guy that took the neutral position. No more. No more. No. Now you have exposed yourselves for who you are. You are on the American federal government's payroll, and you're all probably Freemasons. Hell, Drunken Surfer even admitted that he had a Freemasonic Bible. So yeah, you guys are paid federal agents. You work for the U.S. military. You work for the CIA, or you're being funded by the CIA. Maybe you work for Byru Enterprises or Intrepid. Maybe Yiros works for Intrepid, and he just outsources and pays you other guys, Mormon Shaggy, Daimyo, and you other guys with federal money. And he pays you guys to come after me, has defamation agents. But one thing is for sure, you do not make 5 hours saying the same lines over and over again that Warhammer is in the alt-right, that Warhammer is a Nazi and a neo-Confederate, that Warhammer is in the League of the South, that Warhammer is an anti-Semite. When I've said that I've read Vatican Assassins, which is like the opposite of what Mein Kampf spoke about. And you guys say the same thing over and over again. Why would you do that for 5 hours and not be on someone's payroll? Okay, that's gaslighting. You guys are you guys are defamation agents. Mormon Shaggy, you are a defamation agent and a federal intelligence asset. Laughing Daimyo, you are a defamation agent and a federal intelligence asset. Yiros MC, you are a federal intelligence asset. You are on the CIA's payroll, and you're supporting and working under a U.S. military contract. Okay? Drunken Surfer, you're a paid defamation agent, and you're a federal intelligence plant. Rudy Coleman, you are a paid defamation agent, and you are under the federal government's payroll, and you are an intelligence asset. There, I just said it, boys. Okay? You want to come after me? You want to get me riled up so that you can get me detained or, put up as an insane person and detained, by spouting a bunch of gaslighting stuff. You guys are trying to make me look like I'm insane. It has nothing to do with with any kind of a mental illness. It has nothing to do about Asperger's or none of that. All that Kino Corner stuff was gaslighting. It was gaslighting to pin me up to look like a criminal in the public eye so that I could get put into jail, so that the FBI could raid my house and get me in jail. That's what you guys were paid by the CIA and by Bairu corporations, by the FBI to do. You people are all of you are on the federal government's payroll, and let's just be honest with it, you guys are feds. Hi, Warhammer. Hope you are good, bro, and having a good day. I'm not having a good day, man. I'm exposing the truth. Hopefully it is nice things to say, man. Yeah, you would love that, you paid defamation agent. Mormon Shaggy ran from you, bro. He's scared. Well, then why did he do 5 hours of a stream just saying the same stuff over and over again? Just pushing the same lines, So I would have to say that he works for Intrepid, bro. Mormon Shaggy works for Intrepid, and you probably work for Intrepid also. It's because you demolished him in debate, so he needs to make up lies. No, dude, he's gaslighting. He's on the federal government's payroll. He works for Intrepid or for Bairu Enterprises. That's why he's doing it. He's on someone's payroll. Really, bro, interesting. Bro, I'm Australia. I can't be a U.S. federal agent. Dude, the U.S. federal agent always hires foreign people. Okay? It's not really that unusual. It's not that unusual to have foreign nationals on the U.S. federal government or the British Federal Intelligence Agency's payroll, bro. Got him. Good work, Warhammer. Bro, I've never said anything like that. You're lumping me with Shaggy's messed up thoughts. Why do I sin, bro? What did I do? You sin every day. Like, your very thoughts are sin. You're full of sin. That's why nobody can trust you or believe whatever you say, because all you've done is sin. Bro, that's a 3 to 4. He's a good dude. Bro. Bro, Burger Boy is poisoning your mind. No, Burger Boy is being a good friend like what real friends should be. Burger Boy is all he's done is tell the truth. He hasn't poisoned my mind. Bro, I've never called you alt-right. I've never said anything about your politics, not once. It sounds like you've had a habit to think of a bit too much to think, Warhammer. Yeah, that's very Orwellian of you, Drunken Surfer. There's this thing called doublethink in 1984 by George Orwell. And even in Brave New World, there's this thing about, oh, well, you think too much. Or you have too much time to think on your hands. Bro, that's what you people do. You people are glows, okay? My conclusion, Drunken Surfer, you're another glow. Shaggy exposed. Yeah, he's been exposed as a glow. You've made a friend in me, Warhammer, even if you don't like me. You're a glow, dude. How can I be friends with you? You're a glow. Are you a federal agent, Surfer? What the hell, man? You pissed off a lot of glow in the darks there, buddy. PPP, dumping Surfer the Fed was a great call. Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're glows, they basically, it was all just, set up from the beginning. Careful now, Warhammer. The glow-in-the-darks will unset you like they did to Terry A. Davis if you keep exposing Surfer. Intrepid, the travel agent company. Okay, I'll show you what Intrepid is. What was that site called? The Boot Productions. Dude, who was that guy's name? Intrepid. But yeah, dude, I believe that you guys are working for Intrepid. What you are intelligence plans. You're gathering intelligence, and you're even, like, purposefully sharing intelligence with me in order to defame me as being some kind of an insane lunatic or something. Okay, what was that company called again? Here it is, Lance Cottrell, and it's Intrepid. That's it. So, are you guys familiar with, are any of you guys familiar with Lance Cottrell? Personally, I think that you're part of a different intelligence organization than Intrepid, but we'll just go ahead and show Intrepid. Here's Lance Cottrell. That's him dressed up as a mailman, supposedly. You know, also, this is weird, but I almost forgot about this one. This is a guy, I was, a few months ago, I was in this McDonald's. I went to this McDonald's, and there was this guy that walked in, and he had, like, earplugs, you know, like, walkie-talkie earplugs in his ears. And he had a device in his hand, and it was aimed straight at me. And I made sure to get a picture of him. You see this guy? He's got, you see how he has those, you see how he has those earplugs in his ears? Like he's talking to someone, and he's got a device in his hand. It's probably a phone. Like he's showing, you know, something, like he's trying to get stuff on me. And this is what's interesting right here. This is what's really interesting. Do you see that? Do you see how that looks like Alaska? You see that right there on the map in this McDonald's? That's shaped just like the state of Alaska. Look at that. Isn't this kind of weird? If this is all just a coincidence, I mean, isn't this just all really bizarre? Don't you just find all of this to be kind of really bizarre and weird? Okay. So that's the state of Alaska right there. You see how that looks like Alaska? Now, isn't it interesting that Jake Shields lives in Alaska? Isn't it weird how he lives in Alaska? And that thing up there on that map by that guy looked just like the state of Alaska? Isn't that kind of weird how all these guys were exposed as feds? Like Baked Alaska was exposed as a fed. This guy, a GuyJel, was sending me this stuff about FBI raids and all of that. Don't you find that kind of weird? So, is it really pushing it that far to say that these guys are working for Byru Enterprises and Intrepid? Yiros probably works under Lance Cottrell. or they work for some kind of intelligence agency that's been contracted by the US military. And by the way, there's been 2 people on Discord that I've talked to. Both of them are white nationalists, and they both claim to have clearance passes for the US military, for the Department of Defense. Both of these guys have passports to go into the Department of Defense. One of them is Boesiphus. One of them is Boesiphus or Boesiphus. And it's interesting, but he's in the Kino corner too. He's literally in the Kino corner. This is him, Boesiphus. Or Josephus. This is him. This is the guy that said that he was a white nationalist, neo-Confederate, neo-Nazi patriot, and he has a pass to go into the Department of Defense. This is one of them. The other one was on this circle here, Sophie's mansion, Sophie's thug mansion. But somebody else on here also claimed that he was a foreign agent. You know, oh, and isn't it funny that this other guy, Josephus, is under the tag of Guardian of Truth? Isn't that kind of weird? And there's another guy on here that says that he's from Maryland, and he also has a pass to go into the Department of Defense. Now, don't you find that kind of weird? Don't you find that kind of weird how all this stuff connects so much? No talking bad about Burger. Burger is a minch. Yeah, dude, Burger is totally a real minch, bro. Burger Boy is Grima Wormtongue from Lord of the Rings, bro. He is poisoning you against your friends. You're not my friend at all. You're here to make defamation against me, and you're on someone's payroll. So is Yiros secretly Q. So you're a member of the alt-right then, Warhammer. You see how those agents play these games? They're on someone's payroll. So federal agents are stalking you at McDonald's. Yeah, they are. G.G. Allen, I like Burger Boy, but he hates me, a propos of nothing. Alistair Mycroft, trust the plan. Yeah. Dude, you guys are glows. I'm going to change this to Shaggy, Daimyo, Surfer, GuyJel, Yiros are glows. Yeah, let's just change that to they're glows, dude. Yeah, you guys are glows, bro. I haven't said anything bad about you. Well, actually, you did on your old channel. You said that I was too retarded and too much of a virgin to be accepted on your stream. Then you accepted me, and I blew you the fuck out, so now you're resorting to gaslighting. So yeah, you guys are you're basically gang stalkers. You're federal employed gang stalkers. You know, and I don't like to use that term loosely. And also, I was not the one that called you guys feds in the first place. Burger Boy, Beans, several other people, Hydrio Alpha, all these guys came to that conclusion before I ever so much as even made a thought about it. Now I've come to that conclusion too. You guys are glows. You guys are basically all a bunch of glows, and you're being exposed for who you are. You're on the federal government's payroll. There's plenty of examples in the Cold War of the FBI and the CIA using foreign hired intelligence agents, okay? It makes perfect sense, dude. Dude, the Daimyo claimed that he was the master of puppets. Drunken Surfer even said that much about it, bro. But I think that you, Yiros, wanted to use me as a puppet. You know, to bring likes to your channel. You guys are so unwatchable. Burger Boy is a very good judge of character. You know, I don't always believe everything that Burger Boy says, but time and time again, it's come out as being true. It always seems to come out of the wash, and when it does, Burger Boy is usually right. You know, he's not 100% right of everything, but usually he comes out correct about it. Burger Boy knows what he's talking about. He's been watching gang stalking people, or people that are gang stalked, for years. He's edited and clipped videos from people that claim they're being gang stalked for years, and he knows a lot about the phenomenon. It's not foreign or alien to him. So he knows what I'm talking about, bro. Burger Boy equals Grandma Warm Tongue. Yeah, you wish, bro. You can't even you can't even be original with your thoughts. May the Kino Corner rest in piss. Dude, Yiros, the Kino Corner, let it rest in piss. It's gone, and it's actually a good thing it's gone, bro. Dart Ninja did not flag it. I did not flag it. Burger Boy did not flag it. Nope, dude. It was probably Mormon Shaggy or Daimyo. Your own friends turn against you, Yiros. Like, your own closest friends don't even care to support what you do on the internet, Yiros. And you're paying these guys. You paid these guys to do this stuff to me? So Burger Boy is the gang stalker who gang stalks the gang stalkers. Yeah, you could say that. Well, he clips people that claim that they're being gang stalked. He has it all in his channel. He follows like 200 different people that claim to be gang stalked, and he clips it. But yeah, I think that Yiros, and especially Shaggy, and Daimyo and Surfer are paid agents, and it makes perfect sense. It made perfect sense too. It makes complete perfect sense to finally conclude that all these guys are federal intelligence plants. Paid defamation agents. They're on the federal government's payroll, and they're paid defamation agents. They're online defamation paid agents, bro. So yeah. Why would I pay my own agents to flag my channel? So that you could use that as a scapegoat to get me to put the blame on me. You could use me as a scapegoat. That's why. But yeah, dude, all you guys are a bunch of exposed feds. Yiros is a glow, Drunken Surfer is a glow, PPP is a glow, a GuyJel is a glow, for sure. Daimyo is a glow, Mormon Shaggy is a glow. All these guys are glows. And it's time to freaking expose the glows, man. It's time to expose the feds and the glows for who they are. Paid intel agents. Paid intel agents. And it all makes perfect sense. A GuyJel, why would a GuyJel suddenly turn up and mention to me that Gahul was raided by the FBI? Why would he bring that up out of the blue? You know, all of a sudden, I mentioned something about Gahul, and then a GuyJel wants to give me a clip about him being raided by the FBI. That, you know, that kind of stuff doesn't just happen to anyone. Mormon Shaggy wasting 5 hours of his life in the middle of the night talking about me over and over again for 5 hours. Nobody does that for no reason, bro, unless they're being paid. No one does that for 5 hours unless they're paid by the government to do that. That's the natural conclusion to come for. Have you checked outside to make sure the black helicopters aren't coming for you, Warhammer? No, that's not how it works. That's not how the American deep state works. You're confusing conventional police forces with the secret deep state or the American deep state or the shadow government. So are Gahul and PPP feds too? Yeah, they are. Shia Ali. We have almost zeroed in on his position. Oh well. Oh, by the way, I wanted to show you guys what Yiros looks like. Yiros MC. So, did you guys know that Yiros... You want to see what Yiros looks like, bro? This is what Yiros looks like, actually.
So, you know, I've been thinking at the moment, well, I just wrote this actually.
This is Yiros, bro.
So, you know, I've been thinking at the moment, well, I just wrote this actually. I'm sick of the fucking, you know, current state of affairs with this cunty government turning out to go fuck yourself. And I know that sounds cliche, but, you know, there's always been cunts at the top. You know, fucking on all of us. So that's what I wrote. Tomorrow never comes, yesterday is a surprise. King sit upon a throne forged by the servants' lies, idolized by their wives, butterfly tattooed thighs, but my design spice called taboo in their eyes. Dolls who stink of leather, idolizing vanity, forgotten gnostic ritual, systematic with insanity, psilocybin by the fire to solve the individual, harmonic by design, equilibrium is critical, a yin-yang like Tim Tam's potential never-ending, a tin man with clean hands until the red wedding, that makes you see.
That's from 2015. That's Yiros, by the way. This is what he looks like. Okay, that's Yiros MC right there. This is him dressed up as a woman. Okay, so that's Yiros dressed up as a woman, bro, in a black dress. And that's him, you know, in his regular clothes. Do you want to listen? Hey, do you guys want to listen? Do you want to listen to how Yiros raps, bro? Oh, by the way, he lives in Perth, Australia. So Yiros lives in Perth, Australia, bro. This is Yiros rapping.
Where the mom's at. Yeah. I got 99 bitches, but the problem ain't one. It's trying to find the spare time to lap them with my cum. I got a penis perfection with a lip or erection. Winding up, you can't, you don't need a C-section. Baptized even, I'm craptized even. I capsize penis when I rap nice speeches. That Yiros, fuck a lyric genius. It's that Yiros. Ladies, flick your beat to this. It's that Yiros. You know I rap me with this. It's that Yiros. I got the sauce, greasiest. I'm not the leanest, I'm the meanest. Always took obscene, bitch. I rap about my penis, so fuck or back to Venus. Always smoke the greatest spit paste like a cheetah. You can find me by the sea.
So this is the great Yiros MC. This is the great Yiros here.
See, Bob was a man who